Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about 4 altcoins that we just took profit on. And those altcoins will be revealed here shortly in this video. Let's get it. So the first thing that I want to mention is that 3 of these altcoins we mentioned in the previous video. We were going to go over the details of that in an upcoming video, and then we're also going to reveal the 2 altcoins that we just took profit on. So let's go ahead and get into that now. So the first thing that I want to mention before that we mentioned in the previous video is that we had taken profit on Jasmy, the Graph, and Scale. Jasmy was $109, Graph was $120.80, and SKL was $62.63. So we had $62.63, $159.15, and also $192.47. But in addition to that, we just took $220 in profit on Filecoin just a few minutes before the making of this video, as a matter of fact. So give me 1 second here. I got to look at the spreadsheet. And the most recent profit that we took outside of Filecoin was also on the Graph. So we have Filecoin and the Graph just before the making of this video. And then the 3 altcoin profits that we took before was Jasmy, the Graph, and Scale. Now the amount for Graph was $84.13. So in total, you're talking just under $950. So now let's go ahead and get into the actual transactions, and we'll kind of put you guys up to speed with exactly how we strategize this. It's not really that complicated, honestly, but we'll try to keep it short and simple here. So I'm trying to see. So this was the last time that we sold. You guys can see this was last week. This was on Jasmy. So it was 1109. Obviously, we sold for more than we had in the actual position itself. So if I'm going back here to the spreadsheet, and I will be able to show you guys this eventually. I just got to get Excel on this current computer. So it's $109. So you can see that the total amount that was sold was 1109. So the cost basis is pretty obvious here, is $1,000. And then we basically just took half of the money, put it back into Jasmy, and then moved a portion of the funds into another position. So that is Jasmy. We'll go back here real quick. So now we're going to take a look at the graph. The graph is actually moving up as we speak. So if I pop over here to the charts, you guys can see we're kind of looking at the weekly. Graph is actually pushing into this resistance zone. The wick top back here in February is all the way up at 23 cents. In my opinion, I think it could go as high as perhaps 30 to 33 cents, but we'll get into actual projections here in a minute. So we're going to take a look at the graph's history. As you guys can see, there's quite a few transactions here. So, okay, that was a while ago. That was back in February. That was before we even had this channel. So let's take a look at the most recent ones. So we have here, this is December 25th. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure there was 3 transactions that we had here. Okay, I'm a little confused here. Okay, so let's see, we got sent. So, okay, so I think I know what happened here. So basically the graph was already on here, and then, well, no, okay, no. So I must be confused. Maybe there's only 2 profitable trades, but I'm pretty certain we had 3, but whatever the case, you can see we made a transaction here on the 25th also. It was nice. As I said before, it was definitely a nice Christmas present. So the total amount is $1,395.80. Have this recorded down as $120.80 in profit. So that was the most recent transaction. We basically bought in the pretty much the initial cost basis back into the position because, again, we want to have skin in the game in case it goes up. We don't want to miss out. If it goes down, we just add more. And then once again, you can see that we sold the graph recently here on the first. That is, yeah, that's accurate. Okay, so we got 1359.08, basically sold for $84.13 of profit. And then we put so the initial investment here was $12.75. We put $11.75 back in, and I believe we took 100 out and put it into scale is what we did. So the most recent one, which was the $84, was the profit that we took just before this video. So now we're going to go ahead and get into scale, and then we'll do Filecoin last. Okay, so this is the scale, ticker symbol SKL. This is the altcoin that I was talking about with you guys before. You guys can see that we have kind of been buying and selling this thing pretty much all year when it makes sense to do so. So let's see what we got down here. So this is, I think this one is December 26th was the first time that we took profit on this. So once again, I'm going to look at the spreadsheet here. Keep in mind, I am looking between two different devices here, so this is not one device that's tracking all this. So we're going to go down to scale here and just kind of move over. Okay, so this 1554.15, this was $159.15 in profit. The initial cost basis here was $1,395, and the transaction took place on the 26th. So basically, we I forget which altcoin we put this in. I think we kind of did a split where we took some of it and put it in dividend paying stocks, some of the profit, and some of the profit, and put it into another altcoin, although I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, because you can see we bought back in here. And then this was on the 27th, so this one's $12.9247. We took $192.47 of profit. The initial cost basis was $1,100 on that position. Which you guys can see right here. So we bought in here, sold for $192.47 here, and then we bought back in here, basically $1,000 worth. And then this last one, which was on the 28th, was for $62.63 for a total of $1,062.63, and the initial cost basis was $1,000. And then after we sold that, we basically just bought back in $900 worth, pretty much right after we sold, and we've been adding a little bit since. This $100 up here is we put into scale out of the recent profits in Filecoin. So the 220 we took today, 100 of that went in here, and I believe no, we took 100 of the initial cost basis out of Filecoin, put it into scale. That's what it was, and then the 300 and some dollars in profit we just took, we went to go buy a dividend paying stock with. We kind of told you ahead of time this was going to be our strategy, that before the halving, any profits we make, we're going into dividend paying stocks. And at and after the halving, any profits we make are going to go back into cryptocurrencies to maximize potential profit. So with that being said, let's take a look at the last one here, which is Filecoin. So it actually shows here that it's on the exchange, but it's actually not on the exchange. It's elsewhere, being stored away. So this is kind of a little bit of a lag, but that is actually how much Filecoin we own. It's about 285 tokens. So with that being said, let's go to the primary balance here. Yeah, you can see we recently just sent Filecoin out. So it shows that we have it here, but it's actually lagging. That's not accurate. That does happen sometimes with these blockchains. You just got to give it some time to actually clear and process. So from the look of it, I just got to take a quick look here just to make sure that I'm not seeing things here. So trying to see where the most recent sell was. Okay, so yeah, here's the sell, 24.35. As you guys can see, again, it is literally on the exact calendar day as in today, as in the first of the year in 2024. So the last time that we sold profit on this was back in February 21st. We had sold for $82.51 in profit, and we kind of just sat on the position and accumulated during that time. We didn't want to sell for a loss, so we just kind of held the position. But the initial cost basis was $22.15, and we sold for roughly around $220 in profit. So if you add that all up, that comes out to $2,435, as you guys see here. And then we basically, once again, we took the $220 out of this, out of the profit that we took. We put that into dividend paying stocks, and then 100 out of the Filecoin of the initial investment that we have in this position, we put that into SKL, and then basically just bought the same amount we had before back into Filecoin, as you guys can see here, 285 tokens. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at the technicals here on the charts. So we'll start with Filecoin first, since this is the one that we held for the longest period of time. As you guys can see, we kind of broke this downtrend line here with a candle close that we had pretty much since August of 2022. That's very bullish. So the support would be somewhere around, I would say, $2.50 a token to $3, $3.20 a token. But if you want to use this trend line as support, maybe wait for a pullback to $6.20. Not financial advice, but we're kind of looking for Filecoin to run up to somewhere between $8.50 to roughly about $11 a token before this thing could potentially top out. As you can see, this is the wick high all the way back here. But again, a break of this trend line is bullish. So there's some upside here, but if you intend to buy into this thing, be cautious, because this thing could reverse at any point in time. So with that being said, we'll take a look at the graph. So graph is within its resistance zone, but keep in mind, you see this green candle here is closed above all these previous wick highs. That's a very bullish sign. So we're seeing already within just a couple of weeks some follow-up push to the upside. If we get a candle close above this 24-cent resistance up here, you're looking at roughly about 30 to 33 cents per token. So that's a pretty big increase. That's about 33%. I would say, again, not financial advice, but a pullback to somewhere between 14 to 17 cents a token could potentially be a pullback buy zone. And if you're not comfortable with that, then the major low support here is between 5 to 7 cents, although I'm not sure we're going to see that again. So SKL is another interesting one. You guys can see this wick went up massively and it broke all these previous wicks here. And again, if I draw a trend line down like this, you guys can see that on this candle right here, we broke it, not only with a wick, but with a body close high. So the current resistance is between 6 cents to 8 cents on scale. The trend line is at 5.5 cents. The major support is between 2 to 3 cents on scale. Keep in mind the RSI is overbought right now. But if we were to go even higher than this time frame, or not time frame, this price that you guys are seeing right here, I would say probably somewhere between, based on trading technicals, I would say somewhere in the zone up here. You guys can see kind of these wick closes and these body closes touching this area a lot. So somewhere between roughly about 11 to 13.5 cents would be the next target if it does get a break above this resistance zone here. Now, Jasmine is the last one. Jasmine is also looking very bullish. As you guys can see, it has broken this downtrend line here. The RSI is not overbought, which indicates it has quite a bit of room to run up. The support zones are between roughly 0.3 of a penny to about 0.4 of a penny. The trend line sitting at half a penny, and current resistance somewhere between 0.0072 and 0.0081. And I would say the next resistance above and beyond that is going to be somewhere roughly in this zone here. So roughly about 1 cent to about 0.012 cents, somewhere in there. So roughly about potentially as much as a 2x from this point. We'll just have to wait and see. So those are kind of your potential buy and sell targets and where the price currently is. The prices for a lot of these, I would say, is neither super bullish nor super bearish, just kind of somewhere in between. The most concerning one, I would say, the one that may have the highest likelihood of pulling back in the immediate short term would be Graph. If I had to say any of these had a potential to pull back more quickly than the others, I would say GRT is most likely going to be the token that would pull back first. Again, not financial advice. Anything could happen in crypto. Just keep that in mind. So, yeah, with that being said, this is our 4 altcoins that we just took profit on, and we do think that they're great buys for the crypto bull run. Graph, just a quick notation here before we end the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But Graph could potentially see anywhere from a 10x to I would say about a 14x from current prices. That's to the previous peak. If it goes higher, obviously you're in price discovery. It could go more X's. We would say that Filecoin probably potentially, I would say somewhere between a 20 to a 30x, just looking at the prices. If it goes beyond that, then obviously much more than a 30x. SKL is a massive potential here. So you got basically anywhere from a 10x all the way to the peak being, I would say, probably about maybe a 15, 16x, somewhere in there. If it goes above the previous all-time high, obviously much higher, maybe a 20, 25x. And the last one being Jasmy. As you guys can see here, the recorded all-time high is 30 cents. The actual all-time high, I believe, is like just under $5. But if we just go back to 30 cents, you're talking, I think it's as much as potentially a 50x on this. So yeah, this is the video on our most recent crypto buys and the profits that we took. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.